Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie and this is all about my life after gastric bypass surgery. In today's video, I'm doing an honest review of the Amazon personal shopper experience because I have absolutely no idea what to wear after all of this weight loss and I thought it would be helpful, but spoiler, it wasn't. I decided to come at you today from my overgrown fig trees that will be getting a hard pruning this February now that I know what exactly I'm supposed to be doing with fig trees. That's the problem when you inherit these things that you've never dealt with before. I'm just like, what am I supposed to do with this? But I figured the weather is way too nice not to take advantage of filming outside. And so maybe I'll just hop around at different places in my yard that are overgrown and crazy so that you guys can start to see what I'm working with when I'm talking about all the yard work and stuff I'm having to do. So like I said, today's video is about the Amazon personal shopper experience because I got advertised, as probably a lot of people were, about this new personal shopper stylist option that they have. So that is that you take a stylist quiz, you take a fashion quiz, if you will, so that they can get an idea of what you're looking for. Then you also have an option for leaving notes and comments about what you're, ultimately looking for. And the stylist puts something together and send you recommendations. There are a lot of different services that provide this service, or a lot of different companies that do this, so it's not surprising that Amazon has one too. But the promotion that I was seeing was that you would get the fee back, which I believe was $4.99 to have a stylist put together the recommendations for you. But during this promotion, if you purchase something, you can get the $4.99 taken off of your order, basically. Now, because I have no idea how to style myself after losing 175 pounds, I decided that I would go ahead and give it a shot. And what do I have to lose, right? Worst case scenario, you can send it all back. You don't have to purchase anything. I would just be out of the $4.99 styling fee. I figured I would probably at least keep one item. I think those are pretty good odds that I would at least keep one of the items. So I figured I'd go ahead and give it a shot and just see what that experience is like. But before I get too far into the nitty-gritties on how this process works, I just want to say that if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing and supporting my channel. And if you're not yet a subscriber, I just ask that if you do find yourself watching my content and find yourself watching my channel, that you just go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you can show your support, and hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever one of my videos goes live. So the whole process starts with taking the style quiz, so you can give them a bit of an idea of what kinds of styles you lean towards, what kinds of styles that you like. At the end, there was an option to give some commentary and some information so that your personal shopper could make recommendations filtered a little bit more towards you and not just what the computer is saying that you may or may not like. And that's when I had the opportunity to put in that right now the style seems to be a little bit oversized, loose, and kind of frumpy things, and that's really not what I'm looking for. I did specify that I had lost a significant amount of weight. I'm having trouble finding things that are a little bit more form-fitting and make me feel like I've lost weight. I don't want to be buried in loose clothes anymore. And so that was the only real kind of tidbit of information that I gave the personal shopper. So that was a little bit more clear, not just what style that I'm looking for, but what type of fit that I'm looking for. It only took a couple of days and I did get those pics emailed over to me so that I can peruse them. There were a lot of different options, and then there was a little bit of a blurb from the shopper that I can't find anywhere. So once you go beyond that page, you can never see what they had to say ever again. But if I remember correctly, she had made a comment about how she tried to find certain items that could be mixed and matched and that were kind of summery. And so the idea was to be able to use those different items together so that they weren't just 5 outfits, but you could mix and match them into multiple different styles of outfits. But this is where we came to the first problem that I had during this experience. And it was that I got pics that were absolutely not what I had asked for at all. In fact, the majority of the things that were recommended to me were oversized either shirts, button-up blouses, or shirt dresses, or just like really flowy dresses. So I had a really hard time picking what I wanted out of those different options because they just weren't really screaming to me, this is what you were asking for. In addition to that, there were some things that were so similar to items I already had in my wardrobe that I decided not to pick them. So for example, there was a totally different outfit with a button-up shirt and some khaki colored like linen shorts. I already have linen shorts like that. And although the button-up shirt I could have gotten to pair with what I already had, it just wasn't exactly my style or what I was looking for in terms of what I had asked for. So I didn't go with that pick. I will also mention that I did kind of open myself up to everything. You can specify what types of clothing you're looking for, but because I wanted to just try the experience and see what was recommended to me, I allowed everything. So that means that I allowed dresses, but I also allowed shoes. I'm not the kind of person who has different shoes for different outfits. I really rotate between a few different things that I keep classic enough that can go with most things. I really only have a handful of shoes. I went ahead and left it anyway, just for the process. But I'll say right off the bat that I hated most of these shoe options. So I just kept it with a couple of things that would go good with a couple of the outfits just to give it a shot. So I did decide on 3 outfits that I was going to try. One of them was a salmon colored front tie shirt with like these khaki colored linen pants, and then they came with somewhat matching salmon-y sandals. But I knew immediately upon trying on those pants that this was absolutely not what I wanted in any way, shape, or form. They're absolutely too baggy. They just feel like wearing a burlap sack around my legs. Honestly, they were really quite awful. And in addition to that, they were $50. And I don't know if I'm just being unrealistic, but even at my heaviest, I never paid $50 for a pair of pants, let alone linen pants. And for crying out loud, Old Navy was just running a sale like 2 weekends ago for, I think, $15 linen pants. So that seems absolutely outrageous to me that that would be an option for $50 frumpy linen pants that make you feel like you're Oogie Boogie or something.
Oh, I'm feeling weak with hunger.
So that was paired with the salmon-y peach front tie shirt. That shirt also was a little more expensive than I normally pay for. I'm pretty cheap when it comes to clothes. This is one reason why I have a hard time like dressing myself. I feel like $54 for a very simple no frills shirt is just too expensive. And although I didn't dislike the shirt itself and felt like I could probably easily put that into my rotation, especially as a work appropriate shirt, for $54, it did not wow me enough to warrant keeping. And on top of everything, it was still a style that was very loose and did not make me feel like it was form-fitting or that I had lost any weight. I just sort of felt like I was wearing the same clothes that I used to wear, where I would try to hide the fact that I was overweight, and I just don't want to dress like that anymore. So that whole outfit was a bust, but I decided to try the jean shorts for the other outfit with that top to see if it changed my mind at all. And I really found that I liked the jean shorts a lot. Although I felt way more comfortable in that outfit, I still didn't feel like the shirt was really worth it. But the jean shorts I really liked and were very comfortable, and I don't have a pair of jean shorts like that. I really only have a couple pairs of shorts because I only recently started feeling comfortable enough to wear them. So I really enjoyed the shorts, and they were much more reasonable. It was like $34 for the shorts. So then I decided to pair that with what was originally supposed to come with that outfit, which was this pink, I keep calling it a pirate shirt because, as you will see, it was very weird in the cuffs and way frillier and silky than I really feel like it should have been. For a summer shirt, although it was a light material, it was long sleeved and just very kind of claustrophobic, so I didn't really enjoy that. And although it came pictured as a knotted, almost crop top look, that's not how the shirt actually is. It's just a button down blouse. So I actually had to unbutton the bottom and physically tie it up to make it look like that, which I didn't realize was going to be part of the process, and definitely made the whole thing fit kind of weird. Not only did I just not like the flow of the shirt, and it just didn't feel comfortable, it didn't make me feel good, it was the most expensive thing out of everything that I was trying on. It was listed as $88, which is way beyond what I will pay for a shirt unless it is like drop down amazing. I won't even pay $88 for a dress. But fun fact, while I was pulling all of the information together to do the filming of this video, it was up to $179, which, as my fiance pointed out, today is Prime Day also. So the fact that it was that expensive is just insane to me. And because it changed from deciding if I was going to keep it versus today, I'm wondering what price I actually would have paid for that. If the price changes between when they send it to you and when you agree to purchase it, which one are you actually responsible for? That's something that I hadn't considered, but definitely looks like it's something that could theoretically happen if you do this process. So obviously that outfit was also a bust. It just wasn't going to work. Now, I haven't really talked about the shoes to this point. These shoes were the most uncomfortable shoes I've ever worn. They were clearly at least a half a size too small, but also they were just way too cramped and they were too hard. I can't even imagine wearing them in any circumstance. So although they matched with a couple of the outfits, they just were not gonna happen. And then the last outfit that I ended up getting, it was a little bit confusing because one of the things that happened was that at the end of the whole process, Amazon actually recommended some outfits to me that I didn't realize were not the pics from the stylist, but were just recommended outfits from Amazon. So I ended up getting something that was just sort of a work appropriate slacks and button up shirt combination that wasn't even something that the stylist picked out for me. It was just something that Amazon was recommending for some reason. And so I would not have made that selection had I felt like that was a little bit more clear, especially because it was one of the most boring things. But I did end up liking the slacks enough that if paired with a different work shirt, would be a really good addition to the work pants that I need, because a lot of my work pants are actually way too baggy and too big on me. So this was actually something that's in a size appropriate pair of pants that I can wear for work and that were very, very comfortable. And these pants were $36. So again, something way more reasonable. And I decided to go ahead and keep those. I also really liked these black shoes that were paired with this outfit, but the combination of the fact that they were just a bit too big on my right foot in particular, which worried me that if I went down half a size, that then they would be too tight on the left foot, and the fact that they were $45 and I don't really need a pair of shoes that looks like that because I have a pair of black flats that I use in situations like that, I decided not to keep them. But I did actually really like them and I thought they were fairly comfortable, and I was on the fence about sending them back and getting a half a size smaller just to see how they fit. But I just don't need that many shoes in my life because it's just not the way that I am. I'm a little bit more minimalistic than that. So ultimately I ended up only keeping 2 items, and they were 2 bottoms. So I'm still desperately looking for tops that are both casual and work appropriate. So that's something that I still need to go out and try to find. So I don't think that the stylist was the route to go in terms of that, but I'm still at a loss for what I should wear and what I think would look good on me. But this was not the answer, unfortunately. On top of everything else, the return process was actually kind of a hassle. So what I didn't mention is that you have 7 days to try them on and to determine if you want to keep them. Although they came in multiple different packages, that 7-day trial did not start until the last package was received. So that was at least nice that I didn't have to try on individual parts or parts that weren't, full outfits and then try to determine if I like them without having the full outfits. At least that 7-day time period didn't start until all of my packages were received. But When I went into the app to determine what I did and didn't want to keep, it was a little bit more confusing. So when they send you this package, they give you a nice little fold out card that says exactly what the return instructions are. It gives you a label and it tells you that you can return it in the bag that they provide for you and slap the label on it, and it's super easy. So that's great. My recommendation is follow those instructions. The problem is they give you different instructions depending on what part of the process you're in and what you're looking at, and that's where it became problematic for me. When I went into the app and I made a determination about what I wanted to keep and what I didn't want to keep, I scrolled through and I said, okay, I'm returning this, and it asked why so that it can have some feedback for the stylist. Things like, oh, it's too big, I don't like the fit, I don't like the style, the price is too high, things like that. So again, most of my items I ended up returning, and at the very end of the process, when I hit the button to finalize those determinations, it told me that I could take it to a UPS store and I did not have to bag anything. I could just take all of the items over there and they would bag it and ship it for me. And I said, cool, that sounds awesome. I've done that before with the UPS store for Amazon returns, so I'll do it again for this. But the problem is when I went to go do that today, apparently all of the different packages that come to you have different QR codes, and not everything actually applies to that. So when I gave her the QR code to scan for my returns, apparently it applied to the 2 items that for some reason did not follow the same process as everything else. And those 2 items specified that I had to bag them and I had to put the label on them. The problem is I had left those at home, and I did not do that because it specifically told me that I could just bring everything in and drop it off at the UPS store. So then we had to split up my order into the 3 different packages that had 3 different QR codes. It's applied to it, and thankfully she helped me just put everything into the bag that I did bring, and she printed off the label for me so that she could get that sent over. But it was way more hassle than I really was expecting, because the app told me that I could just drop it off, and that was not the case. So if you do go through this process and you do want to try it yourself, I would recommend to follow the instructions that come in the package. They have a label that they've printed out for you. They have a bag that you can actually reseal and get everything prepped. So do it that way. So with my situation, because I had 2 different pairs of shoes with 2 different shoe boxes that had apparently 2 different QR codes attached to it, unless I could have somehow fit them in that bag and slapped that label on it, I probably still would have run into an issue with having to separate out the proper label for the proper pair of shoes and dealing with it that way. So it was not as hassle-free as they make it seem, and that means a lot, because I did this process because it was really advertised as something that was convenient and somebody would do the work for you and you'd have everything in these labels already easily done. Now if I opted for no shoes, which I would do in the future because again I don't need any shoes, then I think the return process would be a lot easier. But the fact that it wasn't quite so simple really kind of put the cherry on top that this was not a service that I was going to benefit from. I mean, just finding the time alone in my busy schedule to take myself to the UPS store to drop that off, it's just a little bit difficult with the way that everything is going in my life. So when I saw that you could just drop it off, I thought, oh, that makes things a lot more simple, but it's not quite that simple. So the moral of the story is I still don't know how to dress myself. I'm still missing out on a whole bunch of clothes. I still need to try to find things that aren't frumpy and oversized, and Amazon Personal Shopper was not the way to find out how to fix that. But if you are interested in using that service, it is something that's available. This is not a sponsored video or anything. This is just an honest review of the process that I had because I was trying to find something that would help me. So if you've had a different experience, or maybe you've found a service that does it better than I experienced, let me know, because I'm still looking for good options. Because right now, going into stores and trying to find things that are a good style and are form-fitting and not that oversized thing that's really popular right now is really difficult. So I've tried doing this in the store, I've tried doing it online, and I'm just not able to find things that I like, and I just don't know how to dress myself. I don't feel like an adult right now. So if you have suggestions, I would be totally open to it. And if you want to see me review other companies that do this or try out this process, I would be open to it because I'm still in need of new clothes. So let me know what you think, what your experience has been, and if you like this kind of video. But in the meantime, make sure you stay happy and healthy and always look at the big picture, and I will see you guys in the next one.